All right, Shalom. First and foremost, all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Harachach Wadash, that belong to our apostles and the elders and the bishops of the great millstone who teach God and rule well. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopefully elect out there. Shalom unto you. Your brother Shaquat here with a video. Shouldn't be very long. We'll try to stick, I got a few precepts here, and I want to hit a point of, we're going into, how should I speak it? Well, as we're coming into the time of the Passover, it's a good time to go. It's just how beautiful the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yashai is, because we're talking about a day that's coming up, and something certain ordinances, if you will. Forgive me for kind of stumbling over my words, but trying to just make sure the message is understood of what I'm trying to get to, which is coming into the time of the Passover. We have to remove the leaven out of our house. Okay, and so when we get into it, it also offers a moment of how did the elder brothers in Dallas put it? They were saying to see the bigger picture, if you will. Okay, everybody's situation on how they eat or amongst they eat, isn't on the same level, because a lot of situations, people of the world have food offered unto idols. Okay, and that's attached to a certain energy, idol, or whatever the case may be. But us being in the faith, we have to understand that it's just food and we can eat. But if we feel a certain type of way about it, then we shouldn't eat it. Okay, if at all possible. But if to feed your stomach, you have to mature in a sense of understanding. Hey, this is food. Yeah, it's lawful. It's not saying go ahead and eat pork or nothing like that, or shellfish or whatever else. But just saying, if it's a kosher food that we can eat, kosher meaning according to the scriptures, it's allowed for us to eat, the dietary law, then we can go ahead and eat it. Okay, and so I'm going to try to encompass all of this into this lesson, but it's not as drawn out, as it sounds, but more so just getting a little bit of understanding. Okay, matter of fact, let me not start there. Let me go to this in Acts. Let me go to the book of Acts 12, because I want to do something here. I'm gonna read down. I'm actually gonna read it in NLT. Matter of fact, I'm not gonna read NLT. I'm gonna start with in the KJV. But when I get it in the NLT, you'll see where I'm going with it. Okay, so Lord willing, this is edifying. Acts 12:1 in the KJV. Now, about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church, right? And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. Okay, Apostle John. It says, and because he saw it pleased the Jews, the Israelites, right? He proceeded further to take Peter also. Right? Then were the days of unleavened bread, and when he had apprehended him, and it's funny, this is going to the other lesson anyway. Apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squadrons of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Okay, so he can make a public example of Peter. Okay, but he was going to wait till after Easter. Now, when I read all of this, particularly verse 3 in the NLT, it'll give you more understanding. When Herod saw how much this pleased the Jewish people, whatever, he also arrested Peter. This took place during the Passover celebration, okay? The Feast of Unleavened Bread, which we should understand. That's why I have Exodus 12 up here. All right, I'm gonna touch on it, but more so little edification, in that. It says, then he imprisoned him, placing him under the guard of 4 squads of 4 soldiers each, Herod intending to bring Peter out for public trial after the Passover. So when you go into these words, it's going to tell you, as the NLT did, it translated Easter into the Passover. That was the custom. That's the time. Okay, putting a time stamp on when Yahushua was put to death. Okay, and they were at that Passover meal when he gave Judas the bread, and then they came and took him. And this is also going on in this time too. Okay, around the Passover again, right? So, and when you go into, matter of fact, I'll just do it into the, as I'm in here. There it is. You can see the word there for Easter. All right, and this is a special case, but I want you to understand where I'm going with it, right? So Easter, Pascha, which we're going to see that is going to say Passover, okay? The Paschal sacrifice, the Passover, right? Which was accustomed to be offered for the people's deliverance of old from Egypt. That's the Passover, right? From the 12th chapter, Paschal lamb, i.e. the lamb the Israelites were accustomed to slay and eat on the 14th day, the month of Nisan, the first month of the year. Start going into the new year, which is in the new season, right? Spring. It says, in memory of the day on which their fathers prepared to depart from Egypt, were bidden by the Most High to slay and eat a lamb and to sprinkle their doorposts with its blood, that the destroying angel, seeing the blood, might pass over, right, their dwellings. Also, as Yahushua crucified is likened to the slain Paschal lamb, and it's true. Okay, that connects also the Paschal supper, the Paschal feast, the feast of the Passover, extending from the 14th to the 20th day of the month of Nisan, right? And that's what you get out of that word Easter. So, tying this all in, let's go to, and let's see if there's any more in here. Passover, Easter, it has both right there. Okay? But the word is Pascha, okay, in the Greek, which is Passover. In the Hebrew is Pesach, okay? Sacrifice connected with, okay, all those things come to Passover by sparing, okay, constantly use the Chaldean form, Pascha, except in two, okay, entries. Got, and it says Passover is the same word, okay, in other translations in the Greek, okay, other scriptures, I mean, in the Greek, had the word Passover there instead of, but it's Pascha, which in Easter it has Pascha. The word should be Passover there, but they know they have to, you know, we can see where the Roman Catholic Church changed some things, okay? See, so it's going to say Passover in most of these places. All right. All right. See it? So you can see those things talking about it. But here's 2 points I want to make. Go back. Easter. Well, before I even get to that, okay, let's go to Exodus. The book of Exodus 12. Let's go down to 15. This is breaking down the Passover. This is something we read during the Passover, showing the event of the Passover, right? And what the ordinance is that we were to keep during the Passover. The Passover feast was the first day, which was a full moon. Okay, the middle of the month, the 14th day of the month, was a Sabbath. And then we went 7 days or 8 days, if you will, after that first day into the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which in Acts the 12th chapter it spoke of that. But I brought that scripture up particularly because as we talk about Paul's writings and so on, and what you can eat and what you can't eat, and how we have to go through this spiritual maturation, basically maturing in the spirit, being able to know if we should eat the food at Easter with our families, if that's our situation that we're in. You know, if a brother has, that's where he's going to get his meal for the day or whatever from, or the occasion, he may still have to be mature enough to show up to family and not cuss his mama out and grandmama and daddy and want to go square off with his daddy. You know, you got to mature past those things, okay? Even if they haven't, okay? They may be your elder family members, but they may not have matured to understand why you won't participate in Easter. Okay, because they're eating Easter dinner as an Easter dinner. When we, for those that have had any holiday feast dinner, as long as it was lawful, we ate of it. Not to say that every dish was lawful, but just saying the dishes that we partook in were lawful. But had to, because when I first came to the truth, I didn't stay on my own. I didn't have my own place. Okay, I lived with family, and in my father's house particularly. When I went, I moved back there, and you know, because the truth will bring you through some things, man. You have a family and house and everything, children and all that set up, but this truth will take all that from you and put you in a tough position. So when I moved back to my father's house, that's the house where my father's side of the family would kind of have all the holiday feasts, you know, but the holiday dinners, right? So I couldn't avoid that, and there was no other food being cooked, nor did I have time to go and eat, cook my own food, okay, because they had been cooking from the night before all the way through, okay, and then I think Easter Sunday usually, right? So what did we have to do? Saturday we were teaching. Come to the house Saturday night, they already in there cooking up. All right, yeah, you could fast if you want, but if that's not what the moment you're going through. Because this happened a few years. You know, I stayed there a few years coming into this truth. All right, so I couldn't, certain things I couldn't do. Okay, I couldn't cook my own food all the time on a day like this because they had been cooking all day, the day of and the day before. And then there's plenty of food in there and plenty of lawful food to eat. Okay, and I had to mature to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm not eating it to commemorate Easter and Ishtar and all of that goes into. You know, I'm eating it as a meal that if I was sat down at a restaurant, you know, chose my meal or whatever, I would pray over it, you know, in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. So no different here. Okay, we don't know where the meat at the restaurant came from. All right, and the brothers were making a great point about halal. Yeah, that's not praying in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. You see halal, that don't mean it's been prayed over in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Okay, it's usually, like he said, a heathen. You go to these different food places. And I'm speaking on the live in Dallas last night, okay, connecting it with that. I have in my mind to do this video, so I'm going to mix the two, all right? But it's a good moment to do it. You don't know what guys they prayed over to, but they usually have them in the building. You go to an Issachar Mexican restaurant, and they'll have JC on the wall, okay? You'll go to an Asian restaurant, and they'll have Buddha on, you know, a statue of Buddha with pine, bamboo, and all of that around, okay? You're going to an Indian restaurant, you know, Ishmael or whomever, and they'll have their Shiva with all the arms and shit in there. Yeah, I buy my incense from a place that has that on there. Does that mean that my incense are devoted unto them? No, we pray over them, you know, and pray over your house and cleanse your house that way, or, you know, what you do with your incense, okay? So you have to get to a point that you can mature past that. But as the brothers were going into, which I'll try to touch on, when you go into they went to Acts the 15th chapter, and it showed you that Paul had to come up, you know, they had to talk, have a council about how to deal with those Israelite foreigners that were coming in. They were waking up and they believed, but they were so caught up into that old lifestyle of that Greco-Roman fashion, that pagan way of life, okay? And so you got to give them time to mature beyond that, and as their belief grows, okay? So it's a lot here. Seems like a lot to unpack, but it's really not. It's really pretty simple. I'm just going to multitask in this video, if you will. Okay. So we're in Exodus, the 12th chapter, as we already read, the definition of what Pascha. It broke down the Passover in the definition, so we should know what that is. Okay, now going to the 15th verse. All right, I'm gonna make a point here, but I'll get back to the overall point. All right, so I'll start at 14. Exodus 12 verse 14. It says this, and this is an NLT. I'm gonna try to read as much of the NLT as possible, but I had to read the word Easter there because I'm gonna make a point with that. Okay, as I begin to make. It says, this is a day to remember. Each year from generation to generation, you must celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all time. So we're still keeping that custom, right? We come back into the customs. This is what we're doing. And now the difference between those, of the circumcision, they had lived their whole lives as Israelites, practicing these customs, the feast every week. And I believe in the 15th chapter, it gets into it, that they have been rehearsing these righteous acts, living with these customs their whole life because they knew who they were. But the Israelite foreigners who were scattered of the uncircumcision, okay, a couple videos tied into that I've done previously, they didn't have to take on this new custom and eliminate an old custom, okay, of pagan worship, which would be Easter, okay? So some of us are going through that today, all right? So when Easter comes around, Valentine's comes around, you don't tap right into what they believe. You tap into the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai. And if it's like Valentine's, do you go profess your love to your woman? No different than any other day that you may be doing that. Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to make it a burden on anybody, but at the same time, the burden is put on you by trying to keep that belief system. Okay. Trying to keep up with Valentine's. Okay. But just like Mother's Day and Father's Day, Valentine's is a day that you should be no different than any other day of the year. Okay, you should be honoring your father and your mother, not just on Mother's Day and Father's Day, or Father's Day and Mother's Day, right? No different than you love your wives on Valentine's Day. No different than any other day of the year as well. Okay, it shouldn't be different. Okay, and what I've learned is to implement little doses of it, throughout the year. Where it's a little more fervent, with my woman, just to not to have it to, okay, well, now it's her birthday, let me make sure that I do treat her really good and I'm extra romantic. No, I'll just kind of spread that out and make that a part of my lifestyle, of who I am. Okay, just to show a little bit here and there all throughout the year, instead of just showing a little bit extra on that certain day. All right, no different than giving gifts for the birth of my children when they came to the earth. I don't give them necessarily praise on their birthday, but throughout the year I get them things. I don't have to get them 8 things on one particular day of the year that they came to the earth. But instead, as things come along, as it makes sense, hey, I got it, I get it. If they deserve it, on and on and on. So just maturing in that type of understanding on how you can discern and make decisions going forward. Okay, as you mature in this understanding, right? It says 15, for 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast. Okay, which leads to another situation which I want to tap into, which was the original video I was already thinking of. Around the so-called New Year, okay, January the 1st, is when I like to start getting my mind in tune with going in my cabinets and trying to separate all the food that has yeast and leaven in it. Now, is yeast and leaven, eating it throughout the year, is it going off? No, it's not unclean unto you. But during this week, you have to see it that way. Okay, so you stay away from it during the week of the Passover, all right, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And so as I'm getting my mind into it, I like to go in there and start, okay, going through the ingredients. So I can use up all that food and not be wasteful, by the time it comes around. All right. So yeah, all them uh, cornbread recipes and if there's any cake mix in there or whatever the case may be, or there's any, bread or there's beer or whatever in there, hey, I try to get rid of those things. Start, put them in a separation so I can see, okay, well, this enchilada sauce has yeast in it as a thickener, or this soup has yeast in it as a thickener. Let me put that over here in this separate part that I can devise meals around it before we come into the feast. And then, so it won't be wasteful. So now we're eating off of that food. Okay. It's how I like to do it. Because as it says, must be made without yeast, right? On the first day of the festival, remove every trace of yeast from your home. And that's what I'm exercising. That's what I'm doing. Okay. So as a family, we're trying to eat it up in this house. Okay. And I usually start when you want, but to give myself enough time, sometimes there's salad dressing. I got a half a bottle of salad dressing that has yeast in it, as a thickener or whatever. I better get rid of that. I got chips that get rid of that. Don't buy any more. I got the last of the pancake mix. Finish that up. Now I gave myself, over a month, sometimes 2 to 3 months to get all of these types of yeast products out of my house without being wasteful. Okay. So as I'm going into this lesson, I'm showing you that, say you go, and I'm getting to that point. So let me finish reading because I don't want to jump the gun too fast. Right? It says, on the first day of the festival, remove every trace of yeast from your homes. Anyone who eats bread made with yeast during the 7 days of the festival will be cut off from from the community of Israel. All right. All right. And that's for that full week. Now, to make the point of it is going back into Acts, the 12th chapter. All right. I'll show it again. Acts 12, Feast of Unleavened Bread. We apprehended Peter. All right. And the word Easter, which we went through, was Pascha, the Passover. So if you go now, does your family treat Easter as the Passover? No. They eat dinner one time. They have all kinds of abominable foods. They pray in the name of JC. Most times Easter dinner, there's bunny rabbits and eggs, colorful eggs and chocolate candy and whatnot around the house. There's all of that going on in the spirit of Easter. Does that mean that you can't eat the little pastel colored almonds? No, you can eat that. I mean, as far as if it's clean or not, I ain't checked. But I'm just putting the point out. You can't eat, but you shouldn't eat them dinner rolls though. Okay, if it lines up with the Passover. But usually when you notice, Easter doesn't even line up to when we keep the Passover. It's usually after the Feast of Unleavened Bread when Easter comes around, because it's on a worldly Gregorian calendar and not according to the new moon. Okay, you see now why the calendar of the new moon, the lunar calendar, is so important. Okay, but the world holds it in its own separate regard. So when you show up to these family dinners, you don't have to be an asshole and be like, I ain't coming because y'all praying that this white man Jesus Christ is risen again, and y'all got Easter bunnies and Easter eggs and it's, and Easter egg hunts and all, and want me to wear pastel. You ain't got to wear pastel to show up. If it's gonna be a major issue that you'll mess up the family occasion, remember, man, your family, this family, good loving family environment ain't gonna be around forever. Okay, thus saith the scriptures. Okay, let me grab it. Okay, I'm gonna just hit this one in Matthew 10. It's also in Matthew 7. But it's Matthew 10 and 21. I'll read it in the NLT. It says, a brother will betray his brother to death. A father will betray his own child, and children will rebel against their parents and cause them to be killed. Okay? And so this is the situation, man. Your family will give you up, and you will you will turn on your family because they don't believe what you do, because you're not going to stick around and help them out of their situation. You got to move on spiritually with your spiritual family, with the fellow believers. I'm talking about when it gets deep into Jacob's trouble and there's martial law and the famine is in full effect. Okay, and when and money's collapsed and it's just chaos out there. Okay, this is a scenario that's very much a possibility for you to have to deal with. Okay, as it says here, and all nations will will hate you because you are my followers, but everyone who endures to the end will be saved. Okay, and I'll read in the KJV, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Okay, because we follow Yahweh Shem Yahshua, our families are going to separate from us. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. All right, so to keep that from being the focus, or forget my family, hey man, enjoy your family. When I visited family in different places, I look at it like a farewell tour. Okay, you go see your family. You try to be as regular as possible without compromising your integrity of your belief. Okay, you don't have to be in there trying to, okay, everybody get the Bible. In the Bible it say, you don't have to be all like that, man. Now, if you ask questions, answer them. But even still, I'm at the point now where when Bible questions come up around me, I'm not even fazed by people throwing little stuff out there. This guy, he always want to pull the Bible out, and you know what it said, what Jesus said, and they throw little hints out there trying to provoke you. I just ignore those things, man. I'm beyond that. And really, when they really do come to you and seek answers, what should we do when it comes to this? What does the Bible say we should do? I just give them I answer the question, but I'm as short with the question as I possibly can be while answering the question. So I make them want to pursue me to get more answers, because I know they really don't most times. But if you want me to give you this word, hey, pursue me. Let me know that you serious, that you really want to listen. I'm not going to be wasting my time giving my, the pearls and the swine. Okay? That you guys are just going, all right, bull. If you talk thinking it's bull, then you already know not to ask me. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm about to get into this turkey. I'm about to get into this Cornish hen, and into the, into these yams or whatever the case may be. Potato salad, There's plenty of things to eat at Jake's thing, but like I said, if it's not the Feast of Unleavened Bread, you can enjoy that dinner roll. It's okay. Now, as you go further, somebody else, if there's a cousin or somebody that you may be talking to that's hearing some of the words, and I've been watching your videos, man, and such, then, and you kind of break some things down to them, and they're starting to pursue you. Okay, well, you still have to set an example for them. Okay? So if you break down to them at some point that Easter, as I'll go back to it, that Easter at Easter is actually the Passover, okay? Right? That Easter is actually the Passover, then you probably shouldn't eat that dinner roll, okay? As you explain it to them, oh, well, it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread that comes right after that. So Exodus the 12th chapter says to put away leaven. You got to begin to see these things and be that example, but you got to see the bigger picture in which what Paul was doing. Okay? As he was breaking it down, when he was getting the counsel of how we should handle it and the perspective that he thought that he should take. Okay? Which goes right in the book of Acts, the 15th chapter. Okay? With that counsel. All right, so let me get to more precepts. Now, I saw that the Elder Yashawamba referenced the video. I saw it pop up yesterday. I hadn't had a chance to go over his Acts 15 and Amos video. Lord willing, after this, I will. But while I had the moment and while it was on my spirit, I want to, I guess the spirit had us with similar ideas. But mine was started with getting the leaven out of your house, and to start early so you don't waste the food, so you don't have to go and give your neighbor or when I say neighbor, I mean your next door neighbor, that may be a heathen or whomever, or a Jake or whoever, but they don't believe, right? Giving them food, be like, then have to explain that to them, or go put it in the car, whatever the case may be. It's always a good time to swap out that what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say bacteria or germ, but yeast is it's like a living thing, okay? It ferments, so it's what's the word I'm looking for? If brothers know the word, please put it in the comment section referring to what I'm talking about. But it's something that it's alive, okay? And so it's always good to swap those things out. That's why beer can be stale and gets old. That's why bread gets stale and gets old, okay? Because it has a live germ, if you will, in there. It's always good to swap that stuff out anyway, okay? It's just a good custom to keep anyway. Spring cleaning, start with cleaning out your cabinets before the Pesach come around, okay? Getting that yeast out of there, okay? The rest of it should be no problem. Whether it's in the canned goods or whatever, it's always good to clear that out. And then after the Pesach, you start building your yeast reserve back up. But, as we're getting closer and closer to healthy eating, trying to get better that way, you start realizing yeast and gluten and all of those things, and bread and heavy starches, sugars, and so on and so forth, you're trying to eliminate anyway. Okay, and then when the famine really hits full notch, where there's a true scarcity of food, those items aren't going to be on the list of options when you do get to eat, more than likely. Okay, so just giving that heads up, but it goes back into understanding that figuring out how to be a leader. Okay, that as an example and as good someone that they can receive good counsel from you. Excuse me. Okay, so as this is going on in this first chapter, you see what's going on, right? So I better start at the top, because and I'm gonna read through it. I'm sure the brother is gonna hit points, going over this chapter as well, as he's always edifying. You should subscribe and be edified at GMS Remnant Say 144. Okay, it says I'll try to leave the link in the description if I remember. Anyway, it says Acts 15:1. While Paul and Barnabas were at Antioch of Syria, some men from Judea arrived and began to teach the believers, unless you are circumcised as required by the law of Moses, you cannot be saved. And there's some other teachers out there saying that. Okay, we see that coming to a head with Sakari, okay, because they want to stay in that Levitical old covenant versus the grace period that's leading to the new covenant, okay? Anyway, it says Paul and Barnabas disagreed with them, arguing vehemently. Finally, the church decided to send Paul and Barnabas to Jerusalem, accompanied by some local believers, to talk to the apostles and elders about this question. All right, the church sent the delegates, and this is about, Paul's going to get to what it's about. It says, the church sent the delegates to Jerusalem, and they stopped along the way in Phoenicia and Samaria to visit the believers. They told them, much to everyone's joy, that the Gentiles too were being converted, which were Israelite foreigners. Okay, those are the Israelite foreigners. Let's see the word there with Gentile. Okay, just so we can bring that edification out. Ethnos, we've been over this word. Okay, ethnos. All right, showing that it's the Israelite foreigners. Okay, and when they arrived in Jerusalem, Barnabas and Paul were welcomed by the whole church, including the apostles and elders. They reported everything the Most High had done through them. But when some of the believers who belonged to the sect of the Pharisees stood up and insisted the Gentiles converts must be circumcised and required to follow the law of Moses. Okay, you pushing the law on them. Okay, now you got to remember, these are converts. This is a brother that's coming, brothers and sisters that are just now coming into the faith. Immediately, you can't be like, don't go to Easter dinner. Okay, cut that off. And matter of fact, you got to do it this way. You got to do, putting all these super stipulations on what they got to do. Now, is it wrong? Not necessarily, no. But is it gonna, what's the word? Upbraid them? Let me see if we get that word. Okay, upbraid, right? Find fault with someone, scold. They're gonna bring a scolding to them. It can bring a scolding from your family members. It can bring a scolding from the church. Either way, but you have to have a mature understanding that I'm not eating anything that's unlawful. Okay? And I can still show up to somebody, like, if my mother lived here in Vegas where I live, I would go to her Easter dinner. Am I going there for Easter? No. No. Okay? Am I going to go to her Christmas dinner? Yeah. Am I going there for Christmas? No. I'm going there to enjoy my family on one of the last peaceful times I may see them. We don't know when this thing will pop off and it'll become a very unpeaceful situation. But am I going there? Okay, Jesus, I know it's your birthday today. It's the 25th of December. I'm not in there like that. Okay? I'm not in the Easter dinner like, yeah, I hunted these eggs down and we found them and we want, and the god of Ishtar, bring us fertility and bring us, But that was the customs of the time that they were living in. No different than you Jakes coming out the world still practicing these holidays before you can fully eliminate them in a reasonable, responsible, mature way out of your life. The easy way is what Paul gave the understanding. Stop eating the certain types of foods and stop praying unto these false idols, man. It's gonna get into it. Okay? But anyway, it can bring a reprimand, a rebuke, a scold, an admonishment, chastise, okay? All these things could become of it, okay? All right. Let's see. Based on brandish, censor, okay. All right. So that's enough of that. All right. Back in Acts 15. All right. So it's telling them to follow up the law of Moses. Yeah, we do rehearse the righteous acts. We do. Do we make void the law? No, but we establish the law. True, but not everybody's ready to go into deep water immediately. Okay, there is still a process of time and experience that has to happen. Now, is the time speeding up? Yeah, Jake got to get on it quick. Okay, the nice thing in these times now, if you're coming in versus when when the apostles came onto YouTube and the big harvest was coming out of YouTube back 07, 08. Okay, the Hebrew Israelite thing wasn't as out as it is now. It wasn't all over social media like it is now. It was still a hidden thing. It was still a thing that was shunned upon by a majority of the population. There's only a select few that even knew what it was or who we were or that understood. Now it's more, you'll see Jake, yeah, Shalom, I'm from Judah, I'm whatever the case may be. Okay, it's different now. So it can the maturity and the experience can happen a lot faster now. All right. Anyway, it says, so the apostles and the elders met together to resolve this issue. This is back in Acts 15, verse 7. Now it says, at the meeting, after a long discussion, Peter stood and addressed them as follows. Look at Peter says, brothers, you know that the Most High chose me from among you some time ago to preach to the Gentiles so they could hear the good news and believe. Okay? The Most High knows people's hearts, and he confirmed that he accepts Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, ethnos, right, by giving them the Holy Spirit just as he did to us, to those that are already in the customs and that understand the bigger picture, okay, that are already in the firm in the belief that have a solid foundation versus those that don't have a foundation built yet. Okay, now we're trying to help them establish their foundation. Okay, you don't help someone establish their foundation by saying, what is that, 90% of the, I'll say 70% of the New Testament just throw out because it's not authoritative. Paul's words are not authoritative. So all his epistles and writings and wisdom and discernment and experience that we can use today, don't use none of that. Okay? Because as the brothers were saying in Dallas last night, it was the ministry of grace that was being applied. Okay, and that grace was given through the blood of Yahushua. Okay, which was also an initiation into the new covenant, which we are not there yet. If we were, we wouldn't be having a council to how these new Israelites that are waking up. How do we instruct them on how to deal with a situation such as Easter, when they live with their parents still, or they have to show up to Easter dinner with their parents? How do we instruct them how to behave and how to deal with that situation? It's a real situation. Your family starts saying, hey, you don't love us no more. You always with them guys, they brainwashing you. Hey, I mean, it's all these things that's going to come up, man. Okay? And Paul was just giving, and Peter here, giving instruction on how to discern the situation. All right? And Lord, what did I get through it in this time? All right, in this video here, it says, as he did to us, he made no distinction between us and them, for he cleansed their hearts through faith. Because a lot of them woke up without ever seeing the miracles of Yahushua, just by hearing that these things happened. Okay, they didn't see it with their own eyes, right? It says, so why are you now challenging the Most High by burdening the Gentile believers? Let's see what it says there. Disciples, the Israelite foreigners, right? With the yoke that neither we nor our ancestors were able to bear. Okay? Breaks it down. We believe that we are all saved the same way by the undeserved grace of the Lord Yahushua Mashiach. Okay, grace, we didn't deserve this grace period, man, but we got it. That we might, because he looked at the bigger picture. There's no way I can get them to keep the law 100% without changing them. Okay, because of that sinful flesh they're in. Okay, so let me give them grace and let me test their faith with this grace period, that they may be able to grow and mature in belief, in the faith of this thing, that they can be one and come into it versus lose because they fell short of perfection. Okay, because the law demands perfection. Okay, grace, you can make mistakes, as you're trying to clean yourself up. You're going to make mistakes. We're in sinful flesh. It's not going to be perfect off the top. Okay, as the brother says, you miss the mark sometimes, man. Your aim and all of that seemed right. Everything, your intention was right, but sometimes we miss the mark. And in the law, if we miss the mark, hey, man, off with your head kind of situation, right? Anyway, until now, I had 15 and 7. Let's make sure I hit 19. Yep, and this whole chapter goes well, man. Good chapter to read. Okay, this is Acts 15:19. And so my judgment is that we should not make it difficult for the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, who are turning to the Most High. Okay, make it easy for them to bear and digest. Okay, instead, we should write to them to abstain from eating foods offered unto idols. Now, he said that here. Okay, now that's a tough one, because a dinner like Easter, as the brothers were alluding to in their video in the live camp stream last night, sometimes you're going to have to eat food that was offered unto an idol. Okay, but you don't believe in that idol, so the power of it is gone. Okay? But if it in matter of fact, this is a beautiful thing. Let me grab this, because matter of fact, I'll wait on that, but let me add it. Bear with me. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna make a point, Lord willing. I hit that point. It's a good train of thought. All right. So abstain from eating foods offered to idols. All right. So tell them just don't even eat that food. Just gave them some basics to deal with, but it kept coming up because there's situations that arise that, hey man, they're having pot roast, man, beef roast, and I don't have any food, and I'm you know, and I was offered to come to dinner. What should I do? Should I go there and eat? With the food there is lawful, but it's for Easter. Should I go and eat? Okay. And my mama said she put turkey necks instead of ham hocks or whatever the hell, you know, or whatever, salt pork or whatever the fuck it is, you know. She put smoked turkey neck in her black eyed peas. Is it okay if I eat that? It's just black eyed peas, rice, and like fried chicken and cornbread. Is it okay I eat that? But it's for Easter dinner. What should I do? So these questions keep coming up, and you have to, and this is where, as the brothers were saying, okay, the maturity, them brothers don't have the spiritual maturity yet, okay? Though they've been away from Great Millstone for so long, they don't have the spiritual maturity to understand how to guide their flock. They're being caught on the letter of the law so much that they don't know how to make it a reality of building up there. They're so busy trying to cut, you know, people's false understanding, and when it don't line up to what they think, they just want to cut. The Sakari just wants to cut so much that you're missing about the building up of it. Okay? There's still a building up of your church, man. It's still a building up. And when I say building up the church, I mean building up the believers in your church to get them under obedience of the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. Okay? That they can teach others also, as it says in Timothy's. Okay? Reading on, it says, from sexual immorality, from eating the meat of strangled animals, and from consuming blood. All right, from there, we're going to go to the 29th. Oh, no. Let me hit this point, because this was something I referred to earlier. For these laws of Moses have been preached in Judea, or in the Jewish synagogues, in every city on every Sabbath for many generations. We lived with this law for years now. Okay? They grew up back in that time. The day of the circumcision grew up knowing what the law was. But when you go with the Israelite foreigners that were scattered amongst the heathen, living amongst the heathen, may even look like the heathen, practicing the customs of the heathen, but now they're coming into the faith, you can't expect them to know how to keep the law as someone that grew up in the customs kept it. So you can't put that burden on them. You have to try to make that burden easier. Okay, as Peter said. Okay. So now down to the 29th verse. Okay. Which is still a good point. Matter of fact, I'll start 28. For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay no greater burden on you than these few requirements. You must abstain from eating food offered to idols, from consuming blood or the meat of strangled animals, and from sexual immorality. If you do this, you will do well. Farewell. Okay? If you do this, you'll be able to grow, because you'll be separate and holy from those other idols that you've grown up practicing and being involved with. Because what happens, it's like smoking weed. Okay, let's use that as an example. All right, and then let's not act like Jake don't worship it like it's an idol. Okay, like it has power. All right. So if you smoke weed and you hear this truth, okay, now you're learning. Oh, I can't smoke weed no more. So are you going to continue to go around it, knowing that you're still weak to it? That you get around the homies and you want to chit chat, and you may want to talk about the Bible, but they want to talk about the Lakers, and now they passing the blunt around or whatever the case may be, and they through habit pass it to you, and through habit you receive it. Oh shit, I ain't supposed to smoke this. So it's better for you not to even go around if you're susceptible to it. Okay? Once you mature, you can still stand there. Not that you would want to, but I'm just using it as an example. You can still stand there after they're high. Then you can walk up and have your conversation with them and not be ashamed to it at all. Okay? And still have the same Laker conversation that you've been having, so to speak. Okay? That's what he was telling him. Hey, if you feel like you can be overtaken by it, by the desire of it, don't do it. Stay away from it. That's what he was giving them. Just try to stay away from all these things. Okay? But as it comes up, now you have to learn the maturity out of it, okay? Of when it's okay to partake in that dinner without eating the abominable things in that dinner, and not to be in the mind of believing in the idol that's being commemorated by the others in the house, but it's just the food that Yahweh Shema Shai has blessed you with to eat for that day. Okay? So let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, I got that. So let's go to Romans 14, because this is when, as being a leader, you have to be mindful about how you're perceived of those that have lesser faith, right? Let's go to Romans 14. Start at the top. Yep. It says, I'm going to read it in NLT. Accept other believers who are weak in faith, and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. For instance, one person believes it's all right to eat anything, but of lawful things, right? But another believer with a sensitive conscience will only eat vegetables. Okay? Because it's not good for you to eat all meats or whatever, right? You eating a whole bunch of beef and lamb, brother. It ain't gonna be good for you. Okay, well, let me, you know. And the other one believes, that I could eat this, bro. It's lawful. All right, so don't get into those debates, right? It says, those who feel free to eat anything must not look down on those who don't. And those who don't eat certain foods must not condemn those who do. Okay? For the Most High have accepted them. Okay? Who are you to condemn someone else's servants? Their own master will judge whether they stand or fall. Okay, if the brother, you never know. The vegetarian brother may fall out. You never know. The meat-eating brother may fall out. You don't know. They both may remain in, Lord willing. Okay? Which is the goal. That both are given the liberty under this grace period to be in the faith. That don't mean you use the grace to go and eat pork or bacon or whatever, or I want just one more prawn. The fruit, the shrimp cocktails is like, it's got me. No. Okay, stay away from all those things. Are we praying in the name of JC? No. All right. But watch what it continues to say. It says, in the same way, let me go to that so I can hit these verses that I had particularly set up. We're going to go all the way down to 10. Yeah. Right? I'm on verse 5 now. Yeah, so I can see it. Verse 10, it says, in the same way, some think one day is more holy than another day, right? While others think every day is alike. For me, I'm going to think every day is alike. According to the Gregorian calendar, every day is the same. The only day that changes for me is the Sabbath and the new moon. And then the respective high holy days. Okay, according to the scriptures. Christmas, Easter, birthdays, Valentine's, St. Patrick's, all that shit, man. 4th of July, all that shit's the same, man. It's only different on how I operate around, when evading around other people that's in that spirit. Like Super Bowl's coming to Vegas, right? I'm not going to be down on the strip, Lord willing. That's just not what I'm into. Okay? I don't want to be down in that energy. Okay? New Year's, when the strip gets shut down on New Year's so they can throw fireworks and people walk around on the strip and everything's going on or whatever. That's not something I partake in myself. Okay? I'd rather not be involved in none of that. All right? So I don't hold it special than the next. But for those that still hold these family gatherings together, that's fine. But in your belief, I always love getting together with my family and seeing my cousins and my brothers and whoever else, show up, family, dads, uncles, and so on and so forth, mom and whoever else show up to these family occasions. Okay, and they're under the guise of Easter, Christmas, so on and so forth, these pagan idol worshiping days, right? But I don't commemorate the idols of those days, nor do I recognize the abominations that are included in the meal. Okay, I'm simply there to be, you know, part of my family, situation, and to still show them that, hey, I'm still a regular guy. I'm not wilding out and I'm just off as a hermit and I'm just, just don't get around outside, don't see no light. I'm still a regular person. I just believe in Yahweh Bashim El Shai, and I was told to go out and teach it. And when the day comes, Lord willing, I'll be saved out of it. That's it. And I want to be that example unto them that it ain't tough. We sit up there and eat this. And they got pork ribs on their plate, but I got beef ribs on my plate. Okay, and we're still eating the same potato salad that's kosher. We're still eating the same cornbread that's kosher. Okay, sitting up there talking as we would be talking, man. No big deal. All right. They up there, oh man, Merry Christmas, man. Happy Easter to you, and so on and all that. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks, man. Oh, you're not gonna wish to me? No, I don't believe in that. And just keep it that simple. Okay, there's mature ways to handle these situations. Okay, it says you should each be fully convinced that whichever day you choose is acceptable. Those who worship the Lord on a special day do it to honor him. Those who eat any kind of food to do so to honor the Lord. Those who eat any kind of food do so to honor the Lord, since they gave thanks to the Most High before eating. And those who refuse to eat certain foods also want to please the Lord and give thanks to the Most High. Because these are the conversations about believers. Okay, the New Testament, the conversations about the believers. As the Old Testament, the conversation was about the nations. And now Israel was separate. Now there's a separate Israel outside of Israel. There's Israel the Most High, which is of the elect. And then there's the rest of Israel. Okay? It says, for if we don't, and that's the 2/3. I have to put that out there. For if we don't live ourselves or die for ourselves. Let me read it again. For we don't live for ourselves or die for ourselves. Okay, it's not of us, right? It says, if we live, it's to honor the Lord, and if we die, it's to honor the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. Yahushua died and rose again for this very purpose, to be Lord both of the living and of the dead. That's why the dead get resurrected, okay? That's why we're born again, okay? When we come into this belief, we become a new man, okay? And though your flesh didn't die, your spirit is renewed, okay? Though we die daily, our spirit, our spirit is renewed daily, to roughly paraphrase, right? So why do you condemn another believer? Why do you look down on another believer? Remember, we will all stand before the judgment seat of the Most High. Okay? So where do I go from there? 15. Let's go to 15. Verse 15. Yep. It says, and if another believer is distressed by what you eat, you are not acting in love if you eat it. Okay? Whoa. Because it's gonna mess up them. Don't let your eating ruin someone for whom Yahushua died. Like if it's gonna throw a stomach, hey bro, you just gonna eat that Christmas dinner like that, bro? You eating Christmas dinner? Bro, I'm eating honey baked ham. My goodness. Salaki. I'm eating I'm trying to think of something, I'm eating the black eyed peas, bro. I'm eating black eyed peas with smoked turkey necks in there. Okay, there's no abominable food in it. Like, instead of having to explain that and they bugging out over it, just don't eat it. Okay? And I had a brother with me that would come to, in the family we go to family dinners or whatever. We both be there. We're in the faith and believe now. And we talk about, bro, should we eat this? Should we not eat that? And, and just another small note with my family, it seemed like when he and I would show up to these family occasions, they would eat all the kosher food, man. All the kosher meats, man. They'd run through the chicken and the beef and be leaving pork up there for us, man. You know, it was fucked up, but hey, whatever. I'm going to eat this potato salad. I'm going to have a piece of that sweet potato pie, and I'm going to move on. And I'm not going to complain about it. Okay? Now, eventually I did. This is just me as a man. This is, you know, not making it right. But eventually I did. I did say something like, if y'all want us to continue to come to these occasions, I'm coming from Vegas, man. If you want me to come to these occasions, at least save me a plate of kosher food, man. Y'all left me nothing but pork. Y'all eat the pork. Y'all just buy more chicken instead of buying the pork that ain't nobody eating. Anyway, I digress, right? It said, then you will not be criticized for doing something you believe is good. Okay? It says, for the kingdom is not, for the kingdom is of the Most High, Salaki, for the kingdom of God is not a matter of what we eat or drink, but of living a life of goodness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. Okay? That's not a Christian's thing to say, I can eat any abominable food, because, you know, from like they try to use in the book of Acts with you know, with that situation. No. It's simply saying it's okay for me to eat these things, but I'm not going to, you know, confuse a brother that don't know that I'm not eating Christmas dinner. I'm not even going to tell a brother that's funny about it, that don't understand or that's not mature yet, that I'm even going to a Christmas dinner to eat the kosher foods there with my family. Okay? If you serve Yahweh Shai Mashiach with this attitude, you will please the Most High and others will approve of you too. Right? How far am I going down? To the end. Yep. Then let us aim for harmony in the church and try to build each other up, which is the point of what we're trying to do. We're not trying to cut each other. We're trying to build each other up. And then one thing Sakari has a problem with, man, you guys are so close, but you're not growing. You're not maturing. Yeah, you learn more. You're growing in that way, but you're not applying how these scriptures are supposed to work. You're so busy trying to stand out and be a rebel against this, and I'm standing on my own. I'm a man. You worried about those things, bro. We're just trying to make sure everybody's covered by the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shai in that day, man. That's it. And if you ain't right, we got to call you out. And where you're not right, we call you out so you can change and be better. Okay? What makes you the authority? Because you see that we're going through these scriptures, man. Okay? We're going through the scriptures showing you why these situations and how to handle them. Because the scriptures showed us how to deal with these situations. Okay? And because you haven't read them or you don't understand them, that don't mean you throw it out. That means you put it yourself in a place where you don't respect your elders to go and edify you on things, to build you up on things. You have the right guys. All right? Starting with the apostles of a great millstone, you had them. All right? Anyway, continues to say, don't tear apart the work of the Most High over what you eat. You're going to destroy a brother's faith because you want to eat, because you want to eat the beef sausage, he think it's pork sausage, or you want to have Christmas dinner, or as the example I've been using, because you want to eat Easter dinner, okay, or dinner on Easter. You see what I'm saying? It says, remember, all foods are acceptable, but it is wrong to eat something if it makes another person stumble. Okay? It is better not to eat meat or drink wine or do anything else if it may cause another believer to stumble. I love how that was written. All right? You may believe there's nothing wrong with what you are doing, but keep it between yourself and the Most High. Blessed are those who, because you're not looking out for you. And you get rid of that selfish attitude. It's about me and what I want. I ain't no way I'm not going to have my mama's, such and such. He don't know that there's turkey necks in there, but he always only know that there's only ham hocks or ham bone or whatever inside the black eyed peas. So, then just don't eat it, bro. If he's not sure of what it is and nobody wants to ask because you don't want to be rude, hey, just don't eat it. Even though you can see, because you know what turkey neck look like, you may know that that's the difference in there. Okay? And so you feel like you can eat it, the greens or whatever, with the turkey wings, smoked turkey wings in there. Hey, you can eat it. If he want to just stay away from it because it's gonna mess up his faith, hey, because you haven't explained it to him yet, hey, you need to go have a talk if you really want to eat that. But if he don't receive it, just don't eat it. It's okay. It ain't about you. Okay? It ain't about you. This ministry is about serving one another, man. Whether an example, whether an edification, whether an admonishment, or whether it's rebuke. Okay? It's still serving the next person. Okay? Love the Most High with all your heart, mind, body, and soul, and love one another as thyself, man. Okay? It's not hard, bro. It's not really hard. All right? But those are the two great commandments, right? It says, but if you have doubts about whether or not you should eat something, you are sinning if you go ahead and do it. For you are not allowed to to follow your convictions. If you do anything you believe is not right, you are sinning. Okay? You can't be about me. You got to really look on others, man. This ministry is about looking upon others. Okay? That's just how you deal with it. Okay? This comes up. This is another, as I'm thinking it, is another occasion on beef. Let's use beef. How do you like your steak, brother? I like mine well. Well, some brothers don't like theirs well. Some brothers like medium well. Okay? Now you got to get into how these meats are really cooked. And if I recall, medium is pink, but there's no blood. The blood is cooked out, but it's still pink. All right? Some brothers may believe that's okay to eat that. Some brothers move up to medium well, even though it's a lighter pink, almost to well done, but there's still no blood in it. Now, you go medium rare, now you're going too far. Okay, but from medium on to well done, those should be cooked properly. If they're cooked properly, they should all have no blood in it. Okay? But myself, I don't even like medium. I'll order a medium steak knowing that I'm going to take it home and finish cooking it when I'm ready to eat it later. Okay? Just as an example. All right? But I'm not into medium. I don't like it like that. I don't like the chew of it. That ain't the type. I like mine well done. I like my food well done. Okay? Or I may do medium well, knowing that I'm just going to reheat it and then, enjoy it later. So it's not overcooked like a damn hockey puck, later on. All right? But if any of that's an issue with a brother that don't understand, if I'm about to order my steak medium, they don't know what I'm about to do with it. Hey, I just won't order that today. Okay, around this brother till he comes to the understanding, or until I can fully explain it unto him. All right? It's just another teachable moment to take advantage of. All right? So let's go to, I'm going to read up actually before I go to this Maccabees, the 6th chapter, okay? Because I'm going to create an understanding out of this, okay? A mature understanding out of it. It says Romans chapter 14, I think it's, let's go back to 19, okay? It says, let us therefore, this is in the KJV, let us therefore follow after the things which make for peace, and things wherewith one may edify another, okay? For meat destroy not the work of the Most High. All things indeed are pure, but it is evil for that man who eateth with offense. Okay, that's doing it, that's going to offend somebody, right? Let me go to this. Okay, Sirach 39:24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. Now, were we all wicked? Yeah, we were all coming from a bad place before, okay? But we're waking up and repenting out of that, okay? For but unto to the actual wicked people, whether it's the 2/3 or the heathen or the Edomites, whatever, it says, for the good are good things created from the beginning, right? So evil things for sinners, right? For those that the Israelites that go off, right? They're not trying to amend their ways. 26. The principal things for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, the blood of the grape, and oil, and clothing. All these things are for good to the godly, so to the sinner they are turned to evil. Okay? So we have to understand that we know how to use them, but not everybody does. So if they don't know how to use it yet, we have to be cautious on the example we're setting before them. Okay? I wouldn't eat a turkey bacon wrapped hot dog in front of a brother that's barely coming into the fold. Okay? That's just what I wouldn't do. Because I don't want that brother looking at it like, this brother's just gonna eat a turkey wrap. Now he's got questions instead of enjoying the moment we're in. Now he's in his mind worried about, am I eating turkey bacon or is that just bacon? Is that hot dog kosher? Is it the nastiest meats of the whatever the case? I don't want him to have to go through those things thinking like that. Okay, we're just enjoying the occasion. All right. So let's go back now, right? So as I read, and back in Romans the 14th chapter, it says 21, it is good neither to eat flesh nor to drink wine or anything whereby thy brother stumbleth or is offended or is made weak. Okay. And in that, when I read it, and look, let me read 22 just for measure. Has thou faith? Have it to thyself before the Most High. Okay. I have faith that, and I'm not going off, but I have faith that I can still be satisfied. As far as eating, I'm still got food to eat at Easter dinner, but I don't have to partake in the Easter vibration, nor partake in the commemorating of Ishtar, and JC and all of that other stuff with Easter. Okay? Nor do that in front of a brother, is my point, right? Happy is he that condemneth not himself in that thing which he alloweth, okay? When you don't condemn yourself for it, right? Now, when I was in Maccabees, this is something that kind of popped up, right? I'm going to start at 17 Maccabees, 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 17. It said, but let this that we had spoken be before a warning unto us, and now will we come to the declaring of the matter in a few words. Eleazar, one of the principal scribes, an aged man, an elder, right? An aged man, and of a well-favored countenance, was constrained to open his mouth and to eat swine's flesh, an abominable food, right? All right. But he, choosing rather to die gloriously than to live stained with such an abomination, spit it forth and came of his own accord to the torment. He rather take himself, and basically I'm correlating this to not putting a stumbling block before others, as well as not eating anything at all and be condemned and just be hungrier. I'm just going to be hungry. There's not a lot of food left. Hey, the occasion I was speaking about with my family, when they left us all pork, hey, they ate all the kosher meat up, and then they left the pork for the non-pork eaters. I just didn't eat. I went to bed hungry that night. Okay? And to be completely frank, I was young in the faith. I went through the drive-thru at Taco Bell, man, because there was no other food around. And I was very upset. But, hey, I held that back, and I didn't eat that in front of everybody, and I would never put that on camera. Okay, but I don't eat none of that now, but that was back then. Okay, I wasn't in Vegas where I'm at home and I can eat, but I was out at a family member's house. and they left me nothing. But I sat there and I ate that potato salad and that sweet potato pie and moved on. You know, as unsatisfied as I was, I started packing me and the kids stuff up, ran through the drive-thru. You know, kids were young back there, ran through the drive-thru and moved on. You know, now I know I'm mature to where I know how to do it. I'm gonna go to the store and get the meat that I want to cook, and either, you know, have it cooked or cook it myself, whatever the case may be, and that's okay. And have enough for everyone who else is there to share. Okay, but so I can make sure that I've eaten the way I need to. Okay. Anyway, I digress. Verse 20, as it behooved them to come that are resolute to stand out against such things as are not lawful for love of life to be tasted. Okay. So he knew he couldn't eat that, man. Okay, he says, but they that had, and see, he was telling, man, I can't eat this, man. It's gonna throw up. I'm just gonna be all crazy. I can't eat. I'm not eating that. I don't believe in that. I'm not gonna get condemned by my God, right? But they that had the charge of that wicked feast of the old acquaintance they had with the man, taking him aside, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision. Hey, just bring some of the kosher meat you eat, but we're going to make it look like you eating the idol worship meat. Okay, so this is where that moment would come. And watch what he says, right? It says, besought him to bring flesh of his own provision, such as was lawful for him to use, and to make it as if he did eat of the flesh taken from the sacrifice commanded by the king. Just do it this way where it looked like that. It ain't gonna really be that meat, but for the not to what's the word I'm looking for? Not to create a stumbling block before the others, he wouldn't do it. Okay. And it says 22, in that so doing he might be delivered from death, and for the old friendship with them find favor. Right? But he began to consider discreetly as he became his age and the excellency of his ancient years, his wisdom and his experience, and the honor of his gray head, whereon was come, and his most honest education from a child, or rather the holy law, right, made and given by the Most High. He grew up in the truth, so to speak, right? Therefore he answered accordingly, and willed them straightway to send him to the grave. You might as well kill me. I ain't doing that. For it becometh not our age, said he, in any wise to dissemble, whether any young persons might think that Eleazar, being 80 years old and 10, are now gone to strange religion, that I don't create a stumbling block and think that I fell off way later in years of my life. I'm 90 years old, and I'm up here about and I've never known to be eating anything outside of the law, any abomination. Now all of a sudden I'm going to give up my belief system and eat it just to save myself. Nah, man, take me now. Kill me first. All right. And so they, through mind hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, because they will be deceived. Now they gonna eat the real abomination because they see you set the wrong example. Okay, that's what this chapter that Paul's going into. Okay, to not put a stumbling block before your brother, so their faith is still strong. Okay, not to put off any false images before him. All right, 25. And so they, through mind hypocrisy and desire to live a little time and a moment longer, should be deceived by me, and I get a stain to mine old age and make it abominable. And when you read further down in Romans, this is what he was talking about. Hey, man, forget about yourself, man. Even though it's just a piece of lawful meat, they're not going to perceive it that way. They're going to perceive you gave in. Okay? And you got to think of, even though the meat was lawful if he brought it from his own provision, okay, the image of it is him eating swine's flesh is what they're going to think it was. And they're going to be uprooted from their belief. Okay? Which is not what we want. We want believers to be strong and steadfast in this thing. We don't want to set up occasions for them to have doubt. There's no doubt, man. All right? Nor do I want to be anybody in the world, let alone in this ministry, that just sets up doubt. I'll ask questions to confirm my belief or to confirm your belief. But I don't want to sit up here and just, like most debaters and scoffers or whatever else, I just want to create doubt in your belief. That's all a lot of them want to do. They just want to create doubt. Okay? That's not who I am. I want to confirm the souls, man. Okay? Which we see here at Great Millstone has been the example that we've been following. Okay? Of building up people in their belief. All right, I'm going to close out. It says, for though in the present time I should be delivered from the punishment of men, yet shall I not escape the hand of the Almighty, neither alive nor dead. Okay? Wherefore now, manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as mine age requireth, as a notable example. I was going to say it, and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously for the honorable and holy laws. Okay? And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. All right? And so that's how we have to look at it, man. Okay? We don't want to set up a stumbling block and set up an offense in a young man that's coming into this thing, i.e. we're all Israelite foreigners or Israelite Gentiles, if you will, basically coming out of the customs of America and different parts of the world and coming into the customs of our heritage under the law and under the grace and under faith. Okay? So we as leaders have to be setting that example and setting that understanding and providing space for that maturity and experience to take place. And then the edifying and the building them up and the admonishment, so on and so forth, man, are there for the moment. Okay? That occasion to teach is always there. Okay? A moment to edify is always there. All right? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. I just want to bring this out. You know, the points I was trying to hit was get to sifting out the food that has yeast in it early before the Passover comes. Okay, going into that word Passover, in the Greek, it was written near Easter, with the Greek word was Pascha, and you're not going off for eating Easter dinner in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, as long as the foods are lawful and you're mature. But if you're not mature or you're around somebody that's not mature, don't set an example where they have questions or they're not sure. Just refrain from it and deny yourself that brother will be one later down the line. Okay, that he will eventually grow into the understanding and maturity of what it is. As a brother said also last night, hey, because when food scarcity becomes a situation and you walk in and it was Christmas and there was dinner left on the table or in their refrigerator, turkey is Thanksgiving and turkey dinner is in there for leftovers, are you not going to eat of it? Okay, a lawful food, but it was commemorated to an idol or whatever, but you're not going to eat it? Okay, now you got to start thinking differently. Okay? No different than David and them eating the showbread. Okay? So, anyway, I just wanted to get that out there. Lord willing, it was edifying. Giving all praises and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Harachakodash, that belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the Great Millstone, who teach God and rule well. Greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopeful elect. Until the next one, Shalom.